Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Duster Bust. Happy Sunday, thanks for tuning in today. So this is part 2 of our beginner's seat restoration for our 74 Plymouth Duster. So today we're going to do one quick touch on the bucket seats, just something that I changed since last week. Then I'm going to do a very quick recap of how the back seats went. Not going to spend too much time on the details of that, but I'm just going to show you guys the general process. And then we're going to go into the top 5 tips or the things that I learned, kind of the beginner tips for doing this. So that's what we're covering today. Stick around. Alright, so one closeout item on the buckets. This horizontal listing wire line in here, so this pucker, this was bugging me. It's a little bit off. I'm positive that it's off because the inner fabric for the listing wire was crooked. What Zonda2B dropped me a comment, so thank you. Just got me thinking about just doing it without that wire in there. So that's what I tried on this one, because this one also, it would have been crooked. I wanted to see what it would look like with no listing wire, and I think it actually looks better. So, I mean, the amount of pucker on this one is just, it's intense. Like, that is all I see, especially with it being crooked. This one, I think it looks good. So what I did, same thing, I just took the listing wire out. I just didn't put it in. You know, it's still nice and tight, still looks good, still has a little bit of a pucker just because of the foam behind it, gives it that look. I think it looks great. So, unfortunately, that means I gotta take this one apart and fix it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna feel better about it. I think it's gonna look better in the long term. So, that's what we're doing. All right, the fun part. Top 5 beginner tips or things that I learned while doing this job. So this is the first time that I do any auto upholstery, and learned a lot while doing it. So I wanted to put this together to help other beginners. So quick ground rules. This is not intended to bash professional upholstery at all. If you're looking for a professional result, go talk to a professional, pay the professional prices to get it done. If you are like me and you just want to refresh something and do it on a budget, then this may be for you. Number 1, buy a good kit. So I didn't know this. Originally I thought I was going to go into the upholstery shop and there's going to be people sewing stuff, and that's probably the case if you're looking for something super custom. But if you just want something that is kind of reproduction original, they make kits for all of this stuff. So that was, already kind of new to me. I didn't know that they did that. So I talked about it more in part 1. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that. But I basically bought all this reproduction stuff for this and the front seats. And it works really well. It's really easy to use. And it's basically a kit that says, put this together and you end up with a nice seat. So number 1, buy a good kit. All right, number 2, find a good guide video or a good guide reference. So for the front buckets, it was really easy because there is a specific video on how to do it. For the back seats, I found a video also from Legendary that was for a 70 Charger, and it had the general principles of how you need to go through it. So that's what I used. I'll link that video below. And that was helpful for me, but find a similar one that is most like your seats. Use it as a guide. It's not going to be exact depending on where you got all your different parts from, but it helps to have something to reference if you're new to this. All right, number 3, tools for the job. When I ordered my cushions off of Classic Industries, I bought their pair of heavy-duty hog ring pliers. Now, these work really well for putting the hog rings on, but what I didn't realize until I was more than halfway through the job is they also work really well for ripping them off. So the little tooth structure on there works very well for pinching, twisting, and popping them out. I wasted probably a bit of time using needle nose pliers when I did the bucket seats, and then at some point I just tried these and pap, they worked excellent. The one thing that they don't do well is cutting. So if you screw something up and you need to redo something, these don't work really well if you don't have a twisting motion. So if you're trying to take some hog rings out and not damage the vinyl, these are probably not the best thing. I would also recommend getting a pair of good cutters. All right, number 4, get a buttload of hog rings. So the kit that I had like 40 or 50 in it. I blew through those right away. I went to a number of stores, finally found some in advance. I bought another 50, blew through those right away. I went back, I bought the whole box. And I'm so glad that I did, because out of the whole box, I probably only have, this is about 480 in a box, and I probably have maybe 100 left in there. So these, specifically, Advance has these. These are Aveco 7595. Not a high usage item, so it helps to have that number, but you are going to blow through way more than you planned on. Get a box. The whole box was like $9, and it saves you from going back and forth. Originally I was trying to ration them and that just wasn't working out, especially when you do something stupid like you install the top upside down and then realize that when you're finished and then you have to tear off everything and do it again. Takes a lot of hog rings. Yes, that happened. It's alright. Alright, and my final tip is don't overthink it. So I tend to do this a lot on everything. I start looking too much in the details. This is not, for me, this is an aesthetic item. This is having, usable seats. This is not adjusting engine timing or anything super critical. At the end of the day, especially on the back seats where it's more principle based, get some hog rings, get in there, get it done. Don't overthink it. All right, so closing out, I would totally do this the same way again. This worked out really well and saved some money. So overall, very happy with the result. All right, so what's next? In the next couple weeks, I'm still looking to do more work in the basement, staying out of the cold garage. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be working on trying to redo the steering wheel and the dash. So not a full restoration, kind of, you know, retro modding a couple things in here. I think it's going to be cool. We'll talk a lot more of the details of that next week. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Hopefully you find this useful. Like, comment, subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next week.